Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? What you are about to witness is real.
This is not a dream, but a new beginning.
Stand by for uplink.
The Don Hanston Show, straight up.
Thank you.
GPS uplink now completed with Google Earth. Commencing the official countdown in 3, 2, 1.
And now your hosts.
Welcome to the Don Hanston Show. This is Straight Up, along with DJ Marcel, our producer. And Don, how's everybody doing today?
Wonderful today.
Good to know, good to know. Don, we're doing a little something different today. We're going to skip the politics because, to me, getting a little boring and nothing's really changing besides the world's falling apart. I wanted to talk about things to eliminate in our lives. What do you think of that?
I think it's a topic we spoke, pre-show, and you threw it at me, and I said, we could probably make a whole season of this topic. Yeah. There's so many things that we should eliminate from our lives, as a matter of fact, I even mentioned, we need to focus on things that we need to eliminate from our lives, but in essence, what we really need to do is to focus on the positive aspects of what it is that we want in our lives. And so when you're trying to you have to be careful, because when you're trying to rid yourself of certain things, right, you're focusing on those certain things, right? Yeah. And I had mentioned, let's say it's cigarette smoking, and you say, I got to eliminate cigarette smoking. And you say that over and over and over again. The same words that you say is cigarette smoking. So what do you get? You get the reverse flow. You get you get what you focus on. So at the end of the day, we need to pinpoint a lot of things that need to get out of our lives, but then we need to focus on the counter of that action, right? The counter. And it's things that we actually want in our lives to make our lives better.
Well, I wrote down a list of some of the things, and like you had said, we can go on forever on this, but our shows are usually about 30 minutes, so we're going to try to stick with that today. But definitely tell the audience that we will be addressing this topic again, probably several times in the future, because it is such a vast topic where there could be so many things that we should eliminate from our lives. The first one I wrote down, Don, and I was just curious what you think, is eliminating the people around you, either at work, at home, when you're out, people that people who drain you. People just take it all out of you. That was the first thing I thought of. What do you think? Well,
yeah, I mean, you could look at it as, they're vampires of your energy, right? Yeah. You could look at it as they're toxic people, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how you identify these folks is typically their focus is on bad stuff, right? Like, oh my God, this person's dying, or this person has 2 weeks, or this guy get killed, right, or a crash, or baby, was born dead, or some kind of crap. Where people that actually make your life better are the people that highlight the good things, right? Yeah. And like I said earlier in the show, is hey, so and so had a healthy baby, or hey, so and so won the lottery, or hey, so and so just got their first house, or promotion at work, or whatever, you know what I mean? My son made the varsity football team, or he was accepted to a college that he wanted to go to. Like the people that focus on very positive things are the people that you want to be around, and you don't want to be around the people that can't wait to get around you to just spill all the nonsense, right? Yeah. And because it's really what it is it brings you down tone. It brings you like when I said about vampires, people are vampires of your energy, right? And I always say, like, when it comes to folks, and you get together, let's say you get together with a friend, for an old friend, for a cup of coffee, okay? Yeah. When you left that interaction, did you feel better? Did you feel better, or at least as good as when you walked into that interaction? Or did you feel like shit when you walked away, and you're like, oh God, life is such a burden, and oh my God,
Well, I think
everything's
the old misery loves company. You don't.
Yes.
People who are miserable in their life love having people who are miserable as well in their life, and I think that's what you're hinting to, right?
Exactly. So people that want better in their lives want you to be better, because if you're better and you're part of their environment, you make them better, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, like you say, the misery loves company. So these people that are constantly focused on all the toxic and negative news and negative information and everything else, basically they don't even. It's like at a subconscious level, they're actually bringing you down on a subconscious level.
Yeah,
and they
definitely.
know it.
Yeah.
I've
experienced
it. Like you said, yeah. And it's hard though, because a lot of people have jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they have that job, they can't choose who they want to be around them, right? The employer chooses that, and that's why I'm a big advocate of being an entrepreneur, because you can decide who your clients and your employees are, and you can get rid of toxic people, because toxic people, it's like a one bad apple in a barrel, right? What happens to the whole barrel of apples, right?
Yeah.
They all turn rotten. So, at the end of the day, we have to focus on the good things, and we have to focus on people that are good and bring, sunshine to your day, right? Not not all this negative nonsense,
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten rid of several friends in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, I'm that old. That just were not a positive in my life. And I've actually confronted a few of them, when it came time. And I said, listen, you are not a positive in my life. You're very negative, and you just draw too much. And I just really don't want to hang with you anymore. Doesn't mean I hate the people. Doesn't mean I despise them. It's just that in my downtime, in my free time, I choose to be around people that don't drain my energy, that constantly bring me down. So I've eliminated a lot of people from my life like that. And I think a lot of other people should do that, or at least consider doing it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as we get older, right? I mean, people follow the narrative that we have to constantly get worse as we get older, right? Deteriorate, right? And I'm of the opposite thinking. We can actually get better, right? Now, there's certain things that we can't control, but there's other things that we can.
Right.
So you may deteriorate a little bit here and there, but if you're constantly working on betterment, better people around you, better habits, better ways of thought, positive thinking, right? All these good things, you actually your betterment outperforms your deterioration. So in essence, you get better as you get older, as long as you have the right mindset. And so it's really just shifting a paradigm, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like thinking positive, being around positive people, and being around people and recognizing what it is that makes you better, and recognizing what it is that makes you deteriorate. And it's really it's kind of a simple overall theory, but I mean, we can talk about a lot of stuff. Like I know you have other things on that list as well, right?
Oh, I have probably 15 that I wrote down. And the one we're talking about now kind of leads a little bit, because I heard you hint about it a little bit. And the next one that I had written down was stop comparing yourself to other people. And that is a big one, I think, because I'm guilty of that too. Especially with social media. You see your friends on their trips. You see friends doing this, and you're thinking, well, why ain't I doing that? Why can't I go there? Why can't I do that? And I think that's a big thing that you need to eliminate from your life, is stop comparing yourself. Like you said earlier, like, oh, this person has this. Why don't I have that? Why can't I get that? And I think that brings down a lot of people. What do you think?
Well, it's the keeping up with the Joneses theory,
Yes.
right? And it's the people that want to look successful, people that want to look rich, wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Those are the ones struggling the most, because they're spending all their time and all their energy trying to impress everyone else. Okay.
Yeah.
And if they spent half that energy on actually being happy, being healthy, being positive, all those good things that come along with what they see as wealth will come along. But if their focus is on showing people, okay, that they're wealthy, or look what I look like, or how much money I got, or where I traveled to, or this or that, or this or that. If they're telling you, okay, then it's the opposite, right? Everything's the opposite flow, right? So people that want to look rich usually are not. Usually they're struggling. People that look happy, right? They look happy.
Well, they appear usually, to be, yeah.
If you go inside their house, you realize it's miserable, right? People that look like they're free, right, are prisoners in their own cages. I mean,
I think they're looking for they're looking for accolades, don't you think? They're looking for people to say, "Oh my God, that is so great." Don't you think they're looking for like approval?
They're looking for attention.
They're
approval, looking for attention
right.
and approval, right?
Yeah.
And agreement, right?
Yes, agreement.
So what cements reality is agreement, right? If all three of us agree on one thing, then that's reality, right? So if we all three of us see some gorgeous woman and driving a fancy car on a fancy island and all this other shit, we're like, wow, she's really successful. So that's our agreement. So that's our reality, right?
Yeah.
And that's what cements these realities together. And the reality is nothing more than agreement. So when you step outside the box and you create your own agreement and you actually disagree with others' agreements, that's when you start seeing what's real and what's not. And you know what that boils down to is, I think a lot of that is wisdom, right? It's wisdom. A lot of it's experience, a lot of it's wisdom.
You're saying wisdom, experience on your part to notice that you're comparing other people?
To notice that a lot of that's fallacy, right?
That's like anything. Once you know you have the problem, then you can tackle it, right?
Right. So a lot of the agreement that's out there, especially nowadays with the social media and the the lamestream media, most of the agreements that have been made that people agree with couldn't be further from the truth. So, I find that I disagree with 90% of what people agree with, but you know what? My life's great, so I don't really care what they agree on and what they don't agree on, and they don't have to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with them. I mean, just live your life, focus on what it is that you want, and you'll have it. I mean, basically, it's really that simple.
Yeah, I think social media plays a big part in that. I mean, I have a few friends on Facebook that never post, they don't post anything unless they're going on a trip. Every time they're on a trip, that's when they feel the need to post and tell everybody that they're going on a trip. You know, you don't have Facebook, but that one post where it shows them leaving the airport, going somewhere, and then they always have a little something catchy to say, like, oh, got to come back to Mexico again, this is the life, can't wait for this. And those people only post that stuff when they're going somewhere. And to me, it's like they're looking for acceptance, and I don't want to say bragging in a sense, but they want people to envy them, and then all the people fall in line. Like, oh my God, it looks amazing. Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Oh, good for you. And I think they're looking for the pat on the shoulder. And I think that another thing that social media does is you're constantly seeking approval. So I think social media has a big hand in that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people have given up their privacy. So I think one of the things that we need to eliminate in our life is approval and try and create your privacy, right? I mean, there's things that we want people to know, right? But at the end of the day, I don't really want to be evaluated by others. I really don't care what people think, okay? But most people do, okay? Most people, like you said, need that approval. And I think if we've given away all our privacy, and I think that's a big downfall of us as Americans, or us as civilization. And I think if we created our own privacy, we wouldn't be using these things to tell people about all this stuff. Like, if you won the lottery, right? I won the lottery. I won, $500 million.
That would be the thing I would not want to tell people.
All that does is it's going to attract all the undesirables, right? The people who want something from you. Okay, all of a sudden people are going to come out of frickin' woodwork. Why would you want anyone to know that? I mean, if I ever, let's say I won the lottery and won $1 billion, there's no way in hell I would want anyone to know that. You know what I mean? In Illinois, not in Wisconsin or not a lot of these other states. It's a state thing. So, yeah, throw on a rubber Obama mask to say and give them a peace sign. You know what I mean? When they're getting you a check. Correct. Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, when I do buy lottery tickets, I pick them up in Wisconsin. Always. The gas is cheaper. There's no food tax, right? There's a lot of benefits for going to Wisconsin if you're from Illinois. But yeah, but my, driver's license is here, but whatever. But the thing is like, of course I'm going to buy a lottery ticket there, not here, right? I'm not going to buy it here. If I got to put my ugly mug on the on the TV and say, oh, $1 billion, come and try and,
what about the lottery, like the Powerball that combines like 5 or 6 states?
Right, I think it's just a state thing, dude.
So if you reside,
don't quote me, but I'm 90% sure.
I know we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but I'm so interested in it. I don't know if it's where you buy the ticket or where you reside.
Where you buy the ticket.
Oh, it's where you buy the ticket.
Yeah, because it's printed on there.
Oh, okay, I got it. Even though the lotto's for a few states, it's just where you buy it. Then you have to abide by that state's
I don't know
rules.
if it's printed on there, but for sure you have to redeem it in the state that you bought.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that, but it's a great thing that you brought up because you're right. I wouldn't want people to know either. And that goes
all of a sudden, all these people are going to show up that you don't want that are looking to try and rip you off or get some of that cash.
I think the first thing you need to do.
Don't fool yourself.
Yeah, get a lawyer. And
you know what I mean? You're going to wave around, look, I won the lottery. And then, 2 days later, there's school buses of people on your front porch. You're like, Jesus Christ.
And that's something I never understood and I have certain friends, and I've told some of them, they're always posting, flying to Cancun today, flying here today. And I always think, why are you telling people that you're leaving?
Right. You're advertising my house is
empty house, or a family trip to Disney, and everybody knows. And I'm thinking, and I've posted it. I said, it's probably not a good idea. If you want to do it after the trip.
Well, let me point one other thing out about this approval,
comparing yourself,
and comparing and attention, everything else. Okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed, like in business, right? People will drive these wildly fancy cars, right? $400,000-$500,000 cars, right?
Yeah.
And then, right, you give them some pricing to do something for them, and then they're like, you're just charging me a lot of money because I drive a fancy car. So they want the approval, but they don't want the approval. Like, it's really funny because people want what they really don't want, and people work against themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pull into a car dealer and you're gonna buy a new car, okay, you probably don't want to pull in with a Lamborghini, okay, with some Louis Vuitton shoes on or some shit, right? Yeah. You probably want to pull in there with a VW Volkswagen.
Well, it depends if you're trading it in.
VW Beetle with rust on it and some ripped up or some slides, and go in there and say, hey, what's the best deal I can get for this car? You know what I mean? You pull in there with a really nice car or a diamond Rolex watch, and they're like, right, let's charge.
Well, they're going to know that you're just like, yeah, whatever, I want it. I just want to give it to me,
Yes,
so
yes.
I could see that, definitely.
Because I will tell you, one time I was looking for a truck. I needed a truck, and I was going to get one for the guys that work for me. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get a new truck, and I'll just get mine. So I went in for a truck, and I had my sports car, and I pulled it into the lot, and the guy's like, oh, what are you looking at? And so I said, it was back in 2005. It was a Lincoln pickup truck, right? So I'm like, you know what? I like this. He goes, here, why don't you take it? Take it home.
Yeah.
Take it home.
Yeah.
Just feel it out and see how it feels, right? I drove that truck. I'm not bullshitting you either, for 2 weeks. The guy calls me up. The salesman calls me up. He goes, well, are you going to buy it or not? And I said, yeah, I love the truck. He goes, I knew you would. He did not even, like, and I didn't leave my car there, right?
Yeah.
I didn't leave my car. It was just because we pulled up in an expensive car.
Oh,
he gave me the keys for the truck, and I drove the truck for 2 weeks before I even purchased it. And so it was really interesting. Now, if I would have pulled up in a shit box, that guy would be sitting in the passenger seat while I'm driving the freaking car going, only go around 2 blocks because,
or they'll go with you.
We can't. Yeah, exactly. The guy would be next to me in the passenger seat.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's just funny how different things attract different people's attention, and you get different type of confidence and service from professionals.
Just think, you could be driving a different vehicle every couple weeks. All the dealerships around you, if you do that. Right? You could say, well, if I'm going up to Wisconsin, I need, I was going to say a conversion van. I'm dating myself here because they don't have those anymore. But I mean, you could just keep flipping around saying, yeah, I want this car, I want that car. Bad idea,
Not a bad idea, Sal. Never have to buy a new car every 2 weeks. Just return the thing.
Okay, I have one more I think we should talk about because we're going to be winding down in a little bit.
Yep.
The next one that I had written down was, and this is a big one for me, and I'm sure it is for you, pointless arguments. Arguing with somebody that you're not going to convince them. Why are you having the argument? Like something in your head, you feel like you have to be right. You have to make get your point across, or you have to convince somebody that your way, your side, your opinion is the better way. And I think that takes up a lot of our mind, and I think that's something we should eliminate. What do you think about pointless arguments, Don?
Well, first of all, arguments are ridiculous because, number one, if you need to be right, I don't really want to talk to you because you're not very intelligent. Number two, two people can have totally opposing views, and they could both be right and they could both be wrong. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
And number three is I don't need to agree with you, and you don't need to agree with me. Okay? And at the end of the conversation, we don't have to come up with a summary of who's right and who's wrong and what the real deal is. You could tell me, dude, you don't have any hair on your head. You're bald, and I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. You know what I mean? I really don't care. Okay? Or I could go, look, you don't see these strands of hair on my head. I got hair. The thing is I don't need to agree with you, and you don't need to agree with me. And if you have to convince somebody to agree with you, okay, you probably don't want to be around those people.
Exactly.
And if they have to convince you to agree with them, then vice versa. And the other thing is why does everybody think that everybody has to think the same way?
I don't know.
Honestly, how I kind of look at this whole thing, Sal, is if you come up to me with an opposing view, okay, and maybe I don't agree with it, right? What it does is it opens my mind to a different way of thinking. I may not agree with it, but may open up, like I always say, it could inspire thought, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, you know what, I don't have to work, I just put my energy out in the universe and money shows up, and let's say I don't agree with that, right? Yeah. It opens my mind to well, you know what? Maybe money isn't real. Maybe it's just the something that's been placed in the mesh universe as part of the game of life, right?
You're probably not going to win the argument because
so who cares?
Exactly. And I have to tell you, I'm guilty of this, especially when it came to politics and stuff. But I've kind of turned to be no, I don't even want to discuss it with you because I know I'm not going to convince you to think the way I do or to believe what I hear and what I believe, and you're not going to do it to me. So should we just bypass that altogether and talk about something else? Talk about sports, talk about the weather, anything.
Right. So in the politic thing, right? Yeah. With a lot of the nonsense that's going on, I will ask people, so, what do you think happened here? And, the latest one was that Kirk thing. And they say, well, this or that or this or that. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then if they ask me what I think, I say, well, this is what I think happened. And some people will say something that I know is wrong, and I'm like, that's really cool that we all have different viewpoints and perspectives of the same thing. And I don't have to agree with them. They don't have to agree with me. And nobody knows if they're right anyways, because, everything's convoluted.
So, too,
But it's good to hear different viewpoints because it opens up your eyes to somebody else's perspective,
Yeah.
So it makes life interesting, not necessarily to argue with people, but you could always say, well, what do you if you think this, then what do you think about this? And then they say, well, yeah. And sometimes you can pull them over to your way of thinking if you believe it's more of a truthful way, as you could say, okay, yeah, I agree with that, but what do you think about this particular point? And then it would help them look at it through your lens and say, yeah, I kind of see that. You know what I mean? So if you want to pull somebody over to your agreement a little bit more, you can do it on a very gradient scale by just pointing something out that's very obvious that may be alternate to their viewpoint.
Isn't it? That's the thing, though. Pointless. It's like pointless. If you
agree
to meet a buddy of yours at the bar or to go grab a pizza or something,
yeah,
it's pointless to bring up something that you guys don't agree on. And I get a lot of times you don't realize it. I hang with a friend of mine who I went to grade school with. Love the guy. And we are very much in sync. He's not political. Not at all. He works his butt off. And he relies on me to kind of cut through the clutter and tell him what's going on. He hears things left and right, at work or at home or friends at home, neighbors. And then he'll usually come to me because he knows I'm a political junkie, and he'll just throw things off me. But if there's something he doesn't agree with what I said, that he just doesn't agree on, we're just not going to talk about it because it's pointless. What am I going to do? It's like even if I meet up with you, what am I going to do? Spend an hour trying to convince you why I think this candidate's better than that candidate? What good is that going to do? And what fun is that? It's pointless. Right? I mean, it's pointless. Except the fact that you believe in one thing, I believe in another. We have a history. Let's talk about something else. Like if me and you get together, there are certain things, believe it or not, we pretty much are in sync, me and you. But there's been a couple things where I kind of shook my head and go, oh, I don't know about that. I'm not going to meet you for a drink or for lunch and say, Don, these are the things I have a problem with that you said to me over the last year and a half. And I want to discuss them because it's pointless. What am I going to do? I'm going to sit there and try to convince you you're wrong. You're going to try to convince me I'm wrong. So I think the key word is pointless. I mean, nobody wants to have an argument, but a pointless argument. Those are things that I think we need to eliminate from our lives.
Yeah. I mean, you can pass ideas and energy along without getting actually into a conversation with people. You can pass on goodness to people. You know what I mean? You don't have to get into agreement with everybody, and actually you get more into agreement just being with people, right? And not necessarily, conversing about anything in particular. Sometimes just being with people that you get into agreement with them.
So we should find common ground then, right? Yeah. Those are things to talk about. Because it's not it's pointless to have an argument with somebody. I'm sure you feel the same way. I don't look forward to hanging out with people just so I could try to spot what's different in our viewpoints, because it's going to be pointless, Well,
you have to actually overlook viewpoints because I have some people in my family that have some different viewpoints, and I have to look at something that's more common themed between us. Yeah. And that's how we create agreement. It's not about
not easy, is it?
Exactly.
It's not easy.
So but there is things that you will agree on. So you have to, if it's part of your family and it's part of people that you have to deal with, you have to find common ground.
Yeah.
To converse about or and then you'll agree, and then everything's good and everyone feels better. But as soon as somebody is invalidating, your ideas, they feel bad. They don't want to be around you. Yeah. It doesn't create betterment for you. It doesn't create betterment for them. And so validating people is very important. People want to be validated. People do not want to be invalidated. Well, and so
it goes back to the comparing yourself. You want to validate yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess these all kind of intertwine at some point.
Right. And all these things that we're talking about right now has to do with relationships and people.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many things that could be on this list of things that we need to stop doing and look at the counter and start doing.
Well, I think we're going to
changing behaviors.
Definitely address this again in the future. We'll have probably another couple episodes seeing how people react to this and emails that we get. But it's been a half hour of interesting stuff. People who drain you, don't compare yourself, pointless arguments. Those are the 3 things we brought up. Want to remind everybody to hit the website, DonHanstonshow.com, DonHanstonshow.com. There's links for everything there. The email, straightupdonhanson@gmail.com. That link's on our website. Also, the 24/7 radio button on there. We have a station that plays all our shows on a loop. So in case you miss something, you can just put that on and hit the road and listen to it. Our podcasts are available on Apple. I tend to use Overcast. There's Spotify, Rumble, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Radio. And if you like what you listened to today, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. This way you're notified when new episodes drop. Also hit the thumbs up. It helps us out. And Marcel, thank you. Another great job. Don, it was great talking to you. And everybody out there, we'll see you again next time on Straight Up, the Don Hanston Show.
Thank you.
Check out our website for all podcasts and more